CNBC TV 18. Relationships are fundamental to human existence, especially when you're talking about your loved one or your spouse. And like in all relationships, effective communication holds the key. Starting today, we have a special series for you on relationship management with US-based psychotherapist Swati Desai Chaudhary. Earlier, I caught up with Swati and I began by asking her what are the key challenges that young Indian couples face.
Young Indian couples, the modern Indian couples, the main challenge that I have seen they have to face is more modern couples, the expectations of equality are there. They are probably both working, they have independent minds, they have more personal expectations from the relationship. However, the hidden traditionality is still there. And let me tell you what I mean by hidden traditionality. There are three key points about the hidden traditionality. The one main point is that the extended family interference is still there. And that can create problems more so than before for people, two people who have independent minds. And as I said, expectations of equality. The second thing is the idea of respect. In old days, there were some notions of what it means by respecting each other, but those notions are now broken. So our ideas of respect are different, but the rules are not yet established. And then the third point about this is that the social expectations from the couple are still the same, although they both have hardly any time. So simple examples like weddings, birthday parties, or social events and everything, that can put a lot of pressure.
How do couples really need to grapple with this? What are the key pointers as a psychotherapist that you would recommend?
I think that change of attitude, that you have to respect differences. That's the key point. People are typically afraid of differences. They get threatened. Their ego gets threatened. However, to relax about differences and to keep the communication open, that is the key point. And to keep communication open with changed attitude of respect is the most important. So you must have an atmosphere of safety, that just because you say something to the other person, it doesn't have to explode. Open communication with understanding and love. So I'm going to call it communication for the soul. Safe, open, understanding and love.
There's a very apt description of that, communication for the soul, very essential for young couples. But tell us, in fact all couples, but tell us Swati, what are the key ingredients of soul?
There are 10 key points that I have come up with if you want to keep the communication the way we are talking about. For example, art of listening, art of being assertive, managing your anger, or encouraging each other. It has to be an ego-enhancing relationship as opposed to ego-diminishing relationship. These are examples.
Right. So we'll of course, in the series that we do with you, we will be talking about each one of this. Let's start off with the art of listening. What are the key ingredients? It's simple enough as a concept, but many of us just don't listen enough.
Yeah, as a culture, in India, we are all very expressive, but we are not very good at listening. So listening basically means you have to hold your judgment, do not personalize whatever the person is saying, but just listen in order to understand. It doesn't mean you have to agree, but you have to try to understand the feelings that the person is trying. And don't offer solution right away.
Right.
That is a very common mistake.
In fact, when you talk about the art of listening, here's an excerpt from the movie Satya, a real life excerpt to show how couples actually get it wrong.
अभी पापा हॉस्पिटल में है, देखने चले?
तुमने कहा था कि हमारा कोई नहीं, हम किसी का मुंह तक नहीं देखेंगे। अब क्या हुआ? हम
कहा था, लेकिन ही सीरियस, रेलवे हॉस्पिटल में है।
तुम्हें किसने बताया?
उसका जॉन्डिस, वहाँ का इलाज भी हो सकता है।
तुम्हें बताया किसने?
माँ ने और दीना ने ट्रेन में मिली थी।
उन्हें हमारा घर पता है ना, और शायद ये ऑफिस भी, लेकिन उन्होंने मुझे खबर करने लायक ही नहीं समझा, राइट?
ऐसी कोई बात नहीं आती, तुम ऐसा क्यों सोच रहे हो?
That was of course from the movie Satya. Swati, what do you make of that complex situation?
First of all, Rani Mukherjee's father is in the hospital and she wants to talk to Vivek Oberoi about going and visiting her father. They're both not able to see their own parents because of the dispute in the relationship with the parents. This is a very serious subject. She really should have made a special time instead of just walking in his office. But then the way he's listening to her, he's personalizing. Instead of listening to her intense feelings of worry and guilt and whatever she's expressing, instead of paying attention to that, he is paying attention to his own anger about not being able to see his parents. And that's a very common mistake. When a spouse comes and talks to you about anything, maybe something that had happened in the office or something that happened with a mother-in-law or sister, instead of listening to what the person has to express, the listening person personalizes it, meaning they put their own feelings, they think about what it means to me or what about me, that kind of a feeling. And they are not able to listen to the real thing that's being expressed.
What is the solution to this, Swati?
I'm going to give an exercise, which is think about a situation where your partner comes and starts talking about something emotionally. Just listen. Don't give a solution. Do not try to think about your own issues, but just listen to understand and say things like, oh, okay, I know what you're saying, or I can see that. And then
the person actually put themselves in another person's shoes, the other person's shoes, to kind of gauge how he would like your spouse to react?
Yeah, if it is possible, but typically it is very hard for people to put themselves in another person's shoes. But at least, even if there is a disagreement, at least to listen, to try to understand, instead of judging the person is right or wrong.